Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Ellen, and in today's video you probably saw the title, but I wanted to talk about something a little bit more personal. So in this video I want to discuss how our backgrounds, and especially in my case, my racial background, has influenced what I do or do not read. This is a subject that I haven't really seen discussed on BookTube, and I know it's a topic that is a little bit more vulnerable, and not everyone is open to discussing this because it can be quite personal or hurtful. But I just want to preface this by saying my background is unique to me. I am not a template for all half Japanese people or mixed race people. My experiences make me who I am today, but we all have our own background and things like that. So I don't want you to think that my points of views apply to everyone. So the reason I wanted to make this video is to talk to those who are mixed race like myself, or just to anybody that kind of feels like they're uncomfortable with picking up certain books for whatever reason. So I want to give a little backstory about myself. That way I can explain the purpose I'm making this video. So as I mentioned in my BookTube newbie tag, I am half Japanese and my husband is as well, and so is my daughter. And until I met my husband, I didn't think I would really meet anyone that could understand my point of view. I grew up in a predominantly white town, small white town in Oregon. And while it was a nice place to live, I did feel a little alienated. Like, you probably wouldn't have known if you knew me in school, but I always just felt like a little bit different. And I always felt like I had certain expectations placed on myself. But I realize now that most of it was just myself, like internal pressures I was putting on myself. But I just felt a little different. And I kind of felt this internal pressure to conform to what being Japanese was. So like in my town, of course, anime and Pokemon were really popular, and I remember some classmates would ask me, hey, do you like Pokemon? Do you do this or that? And in elementary school, my mom used to volunteer, and she would always talk about her culture, so that way kids wouldn't really view me as different. And I really love that about my mom. She really wanted to make sure that I felt confident in who I was and be proud of my background, and I really am. So that's something I wanted to say. Despite some of the things that I have felt or even currently feel, like I've never been ashamed of my background. In any case, a lot of the people knew in my town that I'm half Japanese, and I would get asked these questions like, are you into this or that, or do you like sushi or whatever? And it made me feel like this pressure to try and be these things or be interested in those things. And when I felt pressured, it made me lose interest in them, or I'm scared to try and like something. And what if I don't like it? Then does that mean I'm not that Japanese? Especially since a lot of my classmates, mostly white, are into it. What if I'm not into it? What if I don't like it? So I had these pressures. And something that happened to me when I was younger, the subsequent times I've been to Japan, from the first time when I was 9 to most recently as like a 27-year-old, every time I go to Japan, when I start to speak English to somebody, like to a store clerk or a cashier, I'm always met with broken English back. Like, hardly ever do they try to respond back in Japanese to me. And when I was really younger, this bothered me a lot. I was trying really hard, like I'm going to Japan and I want to speak the language and everything. And I am not fluent by any means, but I was really proud, trying to speak my mother's language, and being met with English back was kind of disheartening, and it made me feel like, okay, I'm not really accepted in Japan, or they don't view me as Japanese. I kind of felt ostracized from Japanese culture. I know that sounds kind of dramatic when you look back on it, and I know that those store clerks and cashiers were just trying to be kind. They just somehow knew, I'm not full Japanese, and they're trying their best with broken English to communicate with me. But, it's a little disheartening when you're trying and my husband and my mom are saying my pronunciation is perfect and all that, and still being met back with broken English. I'm just like, I'm really trying. So I just kind of felt like I didn't fully belong in Japan, like Japan won't accept me as one of their own per se. And all of this leads me to say that up until now, except for the occasional manga, I've maybe only read less than 5 manga in my whole life. Besides manga, I have not read a book by a Japanese author. I have not read a book by a Japanese author. And that doesn't mean I don't want to. That doesn't mean that I'm not interested in the stories. I am. But I still have this fear, like if I read like one of the books by Kazuo Ishiguro or Haruki Murakami, someone like that, and if I don't like it, then that small child in me is like, then does that mean I'm not very Japanese? Do I not get it? Like, like this small insecurity that I have is like coming back up. Or if I do like it, is it because I genuinely like it? Or am I trying to fit in with people that like their books, even though they don't have any Japanese ancestry? And it's a tricky thing, feeling like you're unqualified to read something. It's silly, right? Like, you shouldn't feel like you're unqualified or not worthy to read something. If you want to read something, you should just pick it up and read it, right? Doesn't matter what your background is, doesn't matter what language you speak, but it is a struggle that I have. And I just feel like I can't be the only one, right? I can't be the only one. So I wanted to make this video to open the discussion, even if it's just the surface level. What are books or genres, anything in the bookish community? What are some books that you personally feel like you don't want to read because it makes you uncomfortable, or you feel like it's too far out of your comfort zone, or you're afraid you won't get it? What books and why? Why do you feel like you're not picking up those books? Do you genuinely not like those books? Or is it because you're holding yourself back from some kind of internal fear like I am? And I want to change this about myself. So soon I am going to be reading some books by Japanese authors. So if you have any recommendations, please leave them in the comments down below. I would love to hear if you've read any books by a Japanese author. I would prefer to read from an author that had their works translated. Like originally it was written in Japanese and then it got translated to English. I know that the translations aren't always exact or perfect, but I really want to do my best to read from someone that wrote in Japanese. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video resonates with you, or at the very least it helps you to get to know me better and my situation better. I just want to do better for myself and for my daughter. I don't want her to feel the same way that I have. And I never voiced these thoughts to anyone except my husband. So I never really got help from my parents because I didn't feel like I could talk to them, even though I totally could have, but I just wanted to be open and work on this part of myself and try to be more open to different kind of books, not only with Japanese authors, but maybe any genre that I might feel uncomfortable with at first. So let me know in the comments below, do you have any Japanese author recommendation books? And also, is there any genre or a book by certain authors, anything that you feel uncomfortable to pick up because of some internal fear you have? I would love to discuss this further with you guys, and hopefully we can overcome it. Anyway, thank you so much. And oh, by the way, by the time you're watching this, I would have made a Bookstagram account, so I will link it down below. I would love it if you guys would check it out and follow me. I would love that. And until next time, guys, bye.